Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this extreme episode of Transmissions, Civil Warrior gives us a glimpse at their War Within Optimus Prime. A LeBron James-themed masterpiece Optimus Prime is on the way, and we get some new reveals from Toy Fair Australia. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2019, and this is episode 319 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that isn't worried about our editor testifying before Congress. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Yo!
Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, how are you? Let's talk Transformers.
Sadly, we have to start the show out on a down note, but I will throw it to Jeremy to convey the sad news.
I always have to do this.
It's tradition.
I was like, surely Charles isn't going to make me... Okay. The founder of Takara, Yasuda Sato, has passed away. He founded Sato Vinyl in 1955, and that eventually became Takara. He was 94 years old, so I'm guessing he wasn't running things these days, but a huge impact on everything that we know and love here. Basically, by importing the G.I. Joe figures, remaking them, which Hasbro re-imported back, and watch the Toys That Made Us. An impressive story. He retired in 2001, and so our condolences to his family. I think it's pretty awesome that he had the moniker King of Toys, so he has a long legacy.
Yep. Let's bring the show back up and celebrate our Donatreons, those beautiful people.
Make Yoshi happy.
Yes. Those beautiful people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. You guys are awesome, amazing, excellent. And one in particular has stepped up this week. Good friend of the show, longtime listener and friend of the show, Mr. Tom Procia. He has come through with another giant donation this year. He gets his donation in for the whole year in one shot. He continues to be a duly appointed supporter of the Transmissions podcast.
As I understand it, it's generally the money he gets from pat downs is what we end up receiving. So for everybody in the state of New York that has sped or been pulled over by Mr. Procia or what have you, whatever infraction you've had, we thank you sincerely.
He definitely does pay on or save on credit card transaction fees for doing it all in one shot.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you, Tom, and thank you to all of our Donatreons for continuing to support us.
We're not going to ask where the money comes from. We just want it.
And if you would like to become a Transmission supporter and get all the the little perks, we still have Till All Are One comics to send if anyone joins. New members join at the $5 level.
We're down to like our last 800 of those. So you guys need to act.
We have a special early release coming up next week that you might be interested in getting. So
yeah. So
a special episode that's going to go out a day or two early for Donatreons.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. We will tell you more as the time gets closer. But yeah, so we've got lots of perks. We are a little behind on the declassifieds, but we will get back into those very soon. A little. But yeah, so and we did we also have some gifts coming for the Donatreons too. I don't know, they didn't get sent out yet, did they?
No, they haven't. That's in progress.
Don't sound defeated, Jeremy. Sound like you're almost done.
Here on Transmissions, we're on top of things.
Physical gifts are always, or physical goods are always more difficult, especially because we have so many international supporters. So it's
don't blame the international supporters. Thank you.
I'm blaming the United States Postal Service.
Oh, okay.
Which I believe one of our Donatreons is an employee of.
Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you again. If you want to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, and that's where you can find links to join either on PayPal or Patreon.
And if you don't want to become a donator, we're going to need 1,000-word essay as to why.
Donatreon.
Motherfucking, it's convention season, and boy, am I going to buy you a shit ton of postcards.
If you are not interested in becoming a full-time supporter, you can just buy some merch from our store at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. That store is powered by TeePublic, so if you buy anything from our link at TeePublic, you will give us a little bonus. Also, our store is going to be on sale from March 7th to March 8th. All the t-shirts will be $13, and everything else will be up to 35% off. So, hoodies, all the other merchandise. So you can buy a Transmissions themed shirt or lots of other Transformers shirts or anything else at TeePublic, all at a discount. So March 7th is tomorrow. So Thursday and Friday of this week, everything is on sale. So, you might want to stop by and help us out while getting something good for yourself.
Like Yoshi just said, it's convention season.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, let's finish up with the shilling and get into some toy news.
First up this week, we have a prototype image from a new company called Civil War. Civil Warrior is what they're called, and they have shown off a prototype for their Civil Warrior General Grant. I believe you Americans had a General Grant at some point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is not him. This is an Optimus Prime figure, a War Within Optimus Prime figure at that. He is going to stand 25 centimeters tall, so approximately Masterpiece height. And he's going to have almost more than 30 points of articulation. Will have contain diecast and will include a trailer. So that's kind of cool. The War Within mold of Optimus Prime never actually appeared with a trailer in the game, if I recall. Yeah, it's a really cool design. It's been done before, so it's nothing new, and definitely had a mainline release as well in the titanium line, but nothing this big from the mainline before. But we did have that one from the one company, escaping me right now, but they did a full-sized one as well, and they did a Megatron, and I think they're working on a Grimlock as well. So there is another one out there, but this is another company doing one. A lot of articulation on this guy. So what do you guys think? This is War Within Optimus. Charles, you read the comics. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I like the War Within design in general. My only real complaint with this design is the arms in truck mode are just like hanging out there. It's kind of weird. I mean, everything else I think looks good.
It is kind of the design, though, right?
That is the design.
Yeah, it is. I don't have to like it, though, do I?
Yes.
The robot mode is cool. I mean, it's just, this was one of Don Figueroa's redesigns of all the G1 characters. This was unique because it was the first time we saw characters get their quote unquote Cybertronian modes, from G1. So it was cool to see how Don had reimagined these characters for what they would look like on Cybertron. So yeah, this design was cool. I don't think this was not the same design they used in the game though, Daryl. So I don't think that was
no, sorry, that's right.
Yeah. You're thinking War for Cybertron.
I am. I'm confusing my War Within and War For and designs.
So yeah, this was a very cool design. And yeah, having it as a figure that's really well done. Looks good. Looks very, very posable and articulated. So I wonder if the chest also has a matrix compartment. It looks like it does. At least looks like it does open out.
Right. Yeah. Jeremy, does looking at these pictures, does it remind you of the commander of the Union Armies and future 18th president of the United States?
I have to see him colored. If he's mostly blue, I don't know, it might match the uniform.
Right.
I don't think the actual Ulysses S. Grant was die-cast.
I heard he was hard as steel.
If they put out a Megatron and call it General Lee, I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I was about to go. Before we get into this figure, let's talk about the name. Let's talk about the company's name. I don't think that's a good look these days.
Well, I mean,
even their font goes back into like the Old West type fonts, and
right?
stuff.
But as a global figure available globally, you're but one country that can access.
But
this.
it's the country where the event happened, and I don't think things that harken back to the U.S. Civil War is generally something.
Whoever wants to buy this figure doesn't give a flying fuck what it's called.
Okay, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, it's not really what I would do.
Don't a lot of figures take their alt modes from like World War II vehicles?
But World War II was a
doing,
worldwide
Daryl?
conflict. I don't.
I'm pushing them.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
I will give them credit. They chose the Union side, not the Confederate side. If they had chosen, like Charles said, if they had chosen General Lee,
Right.
much bigger issue.
Well, there's still time.
So, yeah, so we'll see.
All right. So what do you think of the figure?
So the figure itself, I think it looks pretty good. I always like the War Within design. I like some of the details here that I don't really remember seeing before on other figures, but like in the bottom of his legs, it looks more mechanical. Like, you see what would conceivably be like pistons and stuff, and I like that. The vehicle mode has never been my favorite thing about this design. So like Charles said, it's kind of a mess, but that's what it's supposed to look like. My biggest issue, and this is probably going in onto Yoshi level of criticism.
Ridiculous.
The tire treads don't line up, and that just bugs the crap out of me. The sides of the treads, the lines don't line up with the treads in the middle of the tires, and that just, my OCD can't take it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's something that would bother me too, I think, if I paid that much attention.
It's just on the image we have with the Superman pose. It's right there, clear as day. But that is something that they can fix between now and release. I mean, it seems like that's an easy thing to fix. It's probably 3 pieces of plastic, just changed how they're lined up.
Yoshi, now that it's been pointed out to you, how much do the tire treads bother you?
They don't. I honestly think this is a gorgeous and beautiful figure. I'm shocked I am saying this, but I think this is a beautiful. I do. I think it's an awesome looking figure, and its articulation is. I mean, it's doing the fucking superhero landing. It's not my Transformers. It was nothing I can buy, but I can appreciate something that was engineered and is awesome to look at, and it's clearly going to be fun as fuck to transform. I wish. Here's the only thing. I wish there was a third-party company whose sole purpose in life was to sell rubber tire upgrade kits for all of this shit. Because that's the only thing that's hurting this. That, and if they botch the fucking color job. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and unfortunately you're going to have to wait to see it. Because right now, I really do dig this thing.
Cool. That's that gets a confused look on my face, which you can't see because it's audio. But I'm very stunned over here.
Jeremy, I got some bad news for you. So I did find a picture of Don's original design. So take a look at the wheels there.
That's just the angle. I mean, that's a comic image, and it's showing it from an angle, and I could see that it's off axis because the middle part's raised a little bit, and that is not what we're seeing in this picture.
I mean,
try again, sir.
The right wheel
that is a stretch.
It looks like right in the center. It looks like it's intentionally off axis there.
I will say, okay, if on this toy the middle section of the tire is raised a fraction from the sides, then okay. But it seems like the treads are in the middle here, like in the section, and not on the Don image.
That's okay. I think we can live with it. Besides, I think this figure's got a lot more things to worry about, especially with the South rising again.
I am interested in seeing the trailer. I think the trailer I think the trailer is a unique idea. I'm interested in seeing that.
Yes, that'll be cool. All right, I'm going to move on just because I've burned this.
You've dug a hole.
I've burned this to the ground. You guys talked about this a little bit while I was away, and I was eager to discuss it. I never got my shot, but thankfully it came back up during the week with a little bit of news. Crowdsourcing for this figure, this Mastermind Creations R50 Supermax, their crowdfunding has been extended. It was supposed to run out a few days ago, but it didn't reach the goal. So the people, because this is not officially like Kickstarter or any of the other crowdfunding sites, they decided, you know what, we're just going to make it go longer. And they're going to push it back to around the end of TFCon LA. That's about when it's going to end. So you can now, it's now up, and it's got, currently as we record this, it's 440 of the 800 have pledged. It's got 17 days left, and yeah, you can definitely still get your hands on this thing if you were worried that you had missed out. It is going to be pretty expensive. The pledge amount is about $51.57 US, so you can get into it for cheap. But if this becomes a reality, that price explodes. So it's around 200 and something, 230 US, I believe. I'm looking for a specific price here. It'll go $200 US. So I don't know if that's with the additional 50 that you've already pledged, or they take the 50 off and it's an additional 150. I'm not sure, but I'm sure the people that have pledged will find out. Anyway, there is a couple more things about this. There's another podcast called The Figure Nights Theater. I'm assuming they have something to do with Audio Nights Theater.
Yes.
They did a podcast and interviewed the designer of this figure, Rick Vander Acker. And you can get that. We've put a link in the show notes. It's their SoundCloud link, and you can take a listen to that. And they have interviewed him and talked about the design process and whatnot, because it's a gorgeous looking figure. And I never got a chance to actually talk about it on the show, and I just wanted to say that I really like the look of this thing. It definitely evokes the IDW look. It comes with a couple different faces, and it's got some really cool transformation pieces. The transformation, or the deep knee bend of the leg, is really cool. How the one back leg piece kind of folds in underneath the knee is really neat. So yeah, it's got a really assorted bits of articulation. I really like it a lot. I'm really considering backing this myself. I haven't done it yet. I'm glad I've got extra time though. Did any of you guys, I know you guys talked about it before, but was there anything else you guys wanted to kind of chime in on about it?
I like, since we've talked about it last, they've added these animations of the various transformation, or joint movements and stuff. I really like that. That really helps in trying to, gauge the figure.
Sure.
I wish more companies would do something like this, because I mean, like you said, that knee bend, it's clear in this image how it works, and it's really amazing.
Mm-hmm. But you look at that knee bend, and it's still holding the flat plane, like the joint on the hip is still staying put, and the foot is staying flush with the ground, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get a super knee bend in that, and that's really impressive. Yoshi, you were going to say something?
I was going to say, how cool would it be if they'd also, like, this is so far off topic, if they'd let you buy not the CAD file, but maybe the exported Max file with a skeletal wireframe. Imagine the animations people could make and attribute it to this company, because that would be
knockoff figures.
Yeah, that would be fucking awesome. It's probably even if it is a CAD file, it's probably too much. Like, it's too easy for people to reverse engineer it that way. But god damn, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be pretty neat.
Daryl, just to mention for your, like you mentioned what's happening with the deposit and everything, it says in the FAQ on the page, it says, if the campaign succeeds, the deposit will go towards the final payment. If the backer numbers are not met, all deposits will be refunded in full. The final payment will be the full amount minus the deposit, and will be due when Supermax is released. So it's going to be over a year from when the campaign ends that you'll have to pay the final amount.
Wow, and they are working with Mastermind Creations on this, so
From what I understand, this is about the same height as the Overlord figure that they put out, and that's a big figure. Like, that's really tall. So you're going to get your money's worth on it. And that figure itself was over $200 US as well. So I think it was anyway.
Shipping is extra too, so they didn't include shipping in this price. Also, just late breaking news, Dinobot Maximize mentions in the chat that they are giving away 3 deposits toward your own copy of this figure. So if you go to the Planet Steel Express Facebook page, like their page, tag a friend on the post, and then share the post on your timeline, and they'll give you an entry to win a deposit.
That sounds like work.
Yeah, I kind of don't like the contest where you have to actively tag your friends. That's kind of annoying your friends, but if you really want it, I guess you'll make that sacrifice.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention this because I never got a chance to comment on it, and I really liked it when I first saw it. Like, I remember being on vacation and seeing people talking about it and thinking it was really impressive. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The possibility that I will be supporting this is pretty high. And I mean, I've got a year, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I just want to talk about it a bit. That's it for me, though. Jeremy, what do you got?
The Siege Voyager Optimus Prime has a big hole in his chest where a Matrix should be. So this company, Shockwave Lab, has created a Matrix for the Siege Optimus Prime that fits nicely in that hole. So this is an add-on kit. It has a Matrix with an LED light, and you can also have it in alt mode. They have a picture here. You have to, I think, take it out, and it just kind of mounts on the back, so it's kind of pointing towards his legs in alt mode. You know, in robot mode, it's just it kind of fits in with the molding that's on either side, kind of indicating a Matrix would be there. So it's actually giving you a Matrix, and I guess the hole is where his head goes when he transforms. I think this is a great add-on if you're going to pose your figure and you want Optimus Prime to light your darkest hour. It seems like pretty bright LED. Daryl, what do you think of this?
I love it. I think it's a great little piece to add to the figure. And I do see that there's also a whole bunch of other ones that they've done here. So this is SL45. They've done a 44, which is for Masterpiece movie Barricade. And they did a 43.
Like their LEDs.
Yeah. 43 is for is a kit for Titan's Return Trypticon, which I believe gives him some lights in his mouth. So that's pretty cool. I don't have a price. Do we have a price?
Well, I'm looking. The Trypticon kit was $70. I don't see a price on this one, but I wouldn't think. Oh, actually, here eBay. I don't know how legit this is, but there's an eBay auction here for $16.
Oh wow!
So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll have someone report back if they get it.
I would expect $16 is about normal for this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the Trypticon one is more intensive. It looks like there's lights on his chest and in his head, in his mouth.
Yeah.
This one is just a single LED in a big hunk of plastic. $16 isn't that bad. Yoshi, what do you think of this?
The picture they have of the Matrix in his chest is so bright that his eyes look dead.
Well, it's just a bad picture.
Just saying. Like, you can enjoy him having the Matrix, but he'll be dead. It's a neat little gimmick. I think $16 is a reasonable price for it. I mean, it is only 2 colors. If it was a highly painted, detailed Matrix, that's one thing, but it's not. It's 2 colors with a very simple. Probably take the batteries out and the light, because I didn't see a switch on any of the pictures. So you probably take the batteries out and then it'll stop trying to blind you. But
they don't show. I would imagine there's a switch somewhere on there, a tiny one, but
anywho, that's it. I think that is a absolutely acceptable price.
Cool. Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a fan of the Siege Optimus Prime figure, but this is a nice little add-on, and reasonably priced. I also like the fact that it does have a little storage space when it's in truck mode, so you can't, it does have a place to go. Although, it's a little bit weird to see the Matrix just hanging out on his back when he's driving around. It's seems a little bit exposed for the.
I think they should have made it where it fits in the other way.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a neat little gimmick, neat little add-on kit. Yeah,
well,
so if
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was going to say, if you have this Prime, it's something neat to pick up. So.
In the long tradition of odd MP10 recolors, there is an apparel store called Atmos, I guess not associated with Dolby. They have a partnership with LeBron James and Takara Tomy, and they are launching a pair of shoes and a god-awful orange Optimus Prime. And it's got LeBron's logo and the Atmos logo, and it is hideously orange, as are the shoes here. And there's a little leopard print thing on both of them. But I'd seen this blowing up, and I figured I'd mention it here. If anyone's interested, the shoes will run around $160, and the Optimus Prime will run around $181. And they will be they're already available. So I can imagine people big into shoes might like this, but it's on par with the whole like Megatron thing that they did, and back with the football player and stuff. Do any of you guys have any comments on how hideous this is?
Just a no thank you. I mean, not only the fact that it's hideous, that they want to charge almost $200 for it, and I'm sure it doesn't come with the trailer.
Yeah, none of the pictures show a trailer.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm not
it
even...
It does come with the axe and the gun.
Well, whoop-de-doo. Also, I'm not a Nike, I guess, cultist at this point, so I can't see paying $160 for the shoes either. So
I did see, I believe it was Rob Clay from Radio Free Cybertron. I think on Twitter he dubbed it LeBron Boy, because it, convoy, the Optimus in Japan. I think that's a great name for it.
So there is a picture here that doesn't appear in the main story one, if on a Japanese website, and it shows that there's the Energon axe does exist with it. He does have a gun, and he does have a matrix that is yellow, and the inside is brown. No trailer though. One last stab at this mold before they replace it with MP44A.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're gonna get that Nike and LeBron money, I mean, I guess you have to do it. They've already sold their soul years ago. Yoshi, what do you got this week?
It's a good question. I have some news about some new Transformer minifigures. This is coming from the company WizKids, and they are releasing these mini Transformers figures. You'll have the option to either get them painted or non-painted. Now, personally, I have some WizKid figures, but they're from my D&D collection, and I've only picked up the painted figures, and they definitely bring their paint game to the table. I've been very happy with their painted figures. They actually took over for Wizards of the Coast, who makes Dungeons and Dragons, completely, because their figures are so much better than what Wizards of the Coast was putting out. And their unpainted figures tend to be more detailed than their painted figures. So if you have a steady hand, that could be something you would enjoy doing. The figures I've been buying range in the $9 to $10, or I'm sorry, $8 to $10, fucking Christ. From the $8 to $9, I could see myself buying these, especially if we're talking G1 representation here. We're going to get Transformers, we're going to get G.I. Joe, we're going to get My Little Pony. I'm confident that these guys are going to knock it out of the park. But you've got a kid, Jeremy. Do you see yourself buying him some ponies?
No, especially at this scale. I think he's a little young. From my recollection, these type of figures are fairly small.
Sure.
Let him get a little bit bigger and not likely to accidentally swallow him.
Is there any aspect of you that's excited to see what these things look like?
Yeah, I think these are great. I'm wondering if they would be in scale with my train set.
Ooh, I bet they would be. Holy shit, I didn't think of that.
So that might be nice.
That would be nice.
Also, if you wanted to run a D&D game based on the Tom Scioli Transformers versus G.I. Joe, you got both lines here.
I want you to die.
But yeah, seriously, I am interested in these specifically for that train set. I think that would be really neat.
That would be real. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome. How about you, Daryl? Will you be getting your daughter the G.I. Joe figures?
Nope. No, I won't.
All right.
She is not interested in that. I don't even think she knows what G.I. Joe is.
Uh-huh.
Probably avoiding the Transformers ones as well. Every now and then I pick up some bots for her, and she opens them, messes around with them for 5 seconds, and then she never touches them again. So
I see.
I think we're done with those.
Well, these she probably wouldn't be able. She wouldn't have to transform because
she wouldn't have to do anything with them. So
Yeah.
I mean, there'd be less for her to do.
Okay.
So
Just wait. One day she's gonna in high school. She's gonna come and be like, "Hey, Dad, I found this cool thing called Dungeons and Dragons."
I'll be like, it's
Nerd.
not cool. It's not cool. But yeah, no, I think they're fine. I'm happy that they're enjoyable for everyone, and that G.I. Joe, Transformers and My Little Pony are getting in on some of these kind of little mini things, but it's not for me.
Well, Charles, you can go to the store right now and pick up WizKids D&D figures and start a family game night. Are you going to do that?
Probably not, but actually my younger son has started showing an interest in D&D. Like he actually came to me one day. He and his cousin were over at my house playing, and then he said he wanted to run a D&D game. So he basically made up all the rules on the spot on his own, and we took, it was characters from ancient Greek myth. So I was Odysseus, and my nephew was I forget another character, and then my daughter was an Amazon warrior, and my son took us through a mythological scenario. So he's showing the signs of D&D affinity. So maybe this will be something he'll be interested in.
How about the Transformers figures? Do you need you've got room on your shelf for these tiny little things of action.
I mean, if they look cool, I might pick them up. I do not have the patience for the miniature painting, so I might get just the pre-painted ones if they look nice. But probably just maybe some to go on my desk in my office or something like that.
All right. Well, that's all I got, Charles.
Would you like to know what I have?
Really? Yeah. Quit making me wait here, all suspensed and shit.
All right. So we had another toy fair this weekend. This was Toy Fair Australia. And so not a whole lot new, mostly just more pictures of the figures that were shown at Toy Fair New York. One thing I did want to highlight was the Omega Supreme figure. They also had the Action Master Omega Supreme from back in the day. And they showed you could see the comparison between that and the G1 Omega Supreme, and then the new Omega Supreme Titan for the War for Cybertron line. So it's cool seeing all those figures compared together, and
he's holding a reflector.
Yes, he is. It's nice, and you've got the vehicle mode there, or that's another. That's the same. That's the same.
Yeah, that's the new vehicle mode.
Yeah. So yeah. It's just neat to see. Also, there were some new War for Cybertron figures, just a couple at Toy Fair, where we got the Siege Micromaster Sports Car Patrol. So we got some in-hand images of those two figures at Toy Fair. So this was the two Sports Car Patrol figures were Blackjack and Hyperdrive. So and they are retools of the race car patrol, the Autobot race car patrol. So these are the Decepticon Sports Car Patrol. They're Micromasters. They're fine. I still would like 4 in a set rather than 2. That's Hasbro, you're cheaping out on us, but
this way they can sell more.
Yeah, well, I want more. I want to pay less for more. I'm a customer, so. But I guess the big news, in addition to those new figures, we then got some just 3D renders of a couple of new figures from Hasbro, directly from Hasbro, for War for Cybertron Siege Barricade. So This is the, Barricade is a character that originated in the 2007 live action movie as a Decepticon police car. So now this Decepticon is a repaint of Prowl. So still, a black repaint of the Prowl figure. I think it looks pretty nice for a black repaint of Prowl. We have 2 more Micromasters, the Off-Road Patrol featuring High Jump and Powertrain. 2 more figures, 2 more Micromasters to play around with. So, Yoshi, any of these figures interesting you?
Can't say that they are, Charles.
To be honest, not surprised.
Right. Well,
it is what it is.
It is.
Daryl, how about you? Are you interested in a Barricade figure?
Well, Charles, I mean, I hate to tell you, but Barricade existed before the live action movie.
Oh, did he? Okay. Where did he originate?
In G1.
As what figure was he?
I just posted it there. He's a little guy.
Oh, okay.
It's a little Micromaster.
Did something happen while I was gone where Daryl has to prove Charles wrong at every possible
Well, I mean,
point?
You just have to. I mean,
Okay.
so rarely.
Okay, this is it's the same name, but it's clearly not the same character or figure.
We know that in Transformers, there can only be one character with one name. There is no duplication of names. As far as the new reveals go, I mean, we kind of knew this was happening with Barricade. A dark Prowl. It looks cool. The color palette is neat. But yeah, it's kind of cool. All in all, it's nothing to write home about. It's just another deluxe repaint. So yeah, I think it looks neat, but it's still just the same figure we had before.
Mm-hmm. What about the Micromasters? Any interest there?
That's another thing. I mean, like I've said before, I'm still chasing down the original Micromasters from G1, and there really is no difference between these ones and the ones that there was from the 80s or 90s. I mean, if there's one out, I've seen them out enough that I've almost bought the one that makes the Star Saber, just because it's, Jeremy loves it so much, and
It's a good set.
So I've almost made that purchase, but generally I've been avoiding them because they're basically the same. There's been no improved in toy engineering on them.
But they can combine into blobs that look kind of like
true.
weapons.
It's amazing. Yeah, no, I've just been skipping them.
Yeah. All right, Jeremy. Any of these figures doing anything for you?
I'm a sucker for the Micromasters, but with Barricade, I think it's interesting. Although one thing that I thought was kind of neat in the render, which I'm sure they're going to completely screw up in the plastic, is the front bumper of the car is all kind of scuffed up and scratched up, which looks very realistic as to what a car would deal with. This has been a car that's been out for a while, maybe even off-road, so the rocks and stuff have kicked it up and scratched it up. I'm just with how they're doing this battle damage or dirt or whatever they're doing, I'm just wondering how bad that's going to look once they actually paint it. Because if they did it like these renders are, I think it'll look good, and it does give that kind of look that this figure has been around, done some stuff. But if they do it like they've done, what we've seen already, it's just going to look like a mess. But other than that, I like the design, the colors, the purple and black look great together. It looks like the purple on the wheels is actually translucent. If you look at the wheels from robot mode, like under his arm, I think that's a neat effect. And that does kind of make it look a little bit more futuristic.
All right. Well, the Micromasters will be showing up in Wave 3, and the Barricade, or the sports car patrol will be Wave 3, the off-road patrol will be Wave 4, and the deluxe Barricade will also be Wave 4. So look forward to those later in the year. All right, that's my toy topics, so let's move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the awesome Transformers stuff we got this week. We do this as a YouTube video. You can see all our stuff in beautiful high definition, but you can also listen to us describe everything in loving detail right here in the podcast. So keep listening, but then pop over to YouTube to see the video. So without further ado, trips to the store. All right, let's get into what we got this week. So I'm going to throw it to Jeremy first.
Well, first of all, I have a shirt that I used our TeePublic referral link, which you can do. And I got this Cantina Cast Celebration Chicago shirt because I'm excited about meeting up with the guys behind this podcast in Chicago. Transformer-wise, or Transformers adjacent, I got GoBots number 4. I got this last, like when it came out, I just forgot to find it before the show last time. So that's just the cover, the cover A with Tom Scioli art. That's all I got. It's a light week.
All right, but that does remind me, our TeePublic store is going on sale tomorrow, March 7th.
Can't do an
and
ad
March
in the
8th.
middle of the show.
So
Yes.
go to it's a public service announcement. They want to get a shirt, go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop. It's very easy. /shop /shop //.
Don't get yourself in trouble, girls.
All right. I will go next. I just have a comic as well. I have Star Trek versus Transformers number 5. As I mentioned, we are reviewing it in this week's alt mode, so stay tuned for that this Friday. The final issue in the crossover between the Federation and the Autobots and the Decepticons and the Klingons. So, fun little book. Pretty boilerplate by the numbers crossover series. All right, Yoshi, what do you got next?
You guys remember the Christmas card we all got from IDW?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I sent mine
yours back
with a scathing, hate-laced letter.
It's amazing that we're still on their PR list.
So Tom did end up signing it and sending it back.
Nice.
Yeah. We were all pissed. I actually did something about it.
You were pissed.
Yeah, I don't remember being pissed. I was happy to get a Christmas card from IDW.
Like their marketing team is why we fucking read their books. Anyways, that's what I got. I corrected a wrong in the universe.
Only Yoshi gets mad when someone sends him a card out of courtesy just to be nice. No, you weren't nice enough. I'm sending this back.
You're damn right I sent it back.
I'm going to pay money to send this back to you.
With a note. It came with a note saying, please don't do that again.
Letters are people too.
This is why Yoshi is not in charge of our PR.
Yes.
I got the Christmas card I wanted. I'm happy.
And it's March.
And it's March.
And it's the subject of a comic book node body strip, so it's a win. It's a win all around.
It was totally worth it.
All right, Daryl, bring us home. What do you got?
Well, I too got the Star Trek versus Transformers cover comic that you got, Charles, same cover. And yeah, we'll talk about it in alt mode this week, so stay tuned for that. I do got a couple G1s here. These ones here, I didn't think I'd ever get any because I didn't really care about them, but I came across them, so I picked them up. These are G1 Mini Spies. Just a little guys that I don't even remember how you get them. They don't really have names. So this one's Steve. That's Greg. And that's Daniel. Not Daniel Witwicky. A different Daniel. The first double-use name in G1.
Well, I guess it's already established humans can have the same name.
Right. There you go. So anyway, I picked those guys up. They're kind of fun. There's a couple different molds. They basically reused the molds and then pushed all the colors through all the molds as well. So there's I don't know the multiplication on how many different times it was used, but there's a couple. And then I got a G1 Dinobot.
Oh, cool.
So he's pretty good. He's complete.
A G1 Beast War.
Yes, a G1 Beast War Dinobot.
How dare you?
He's complete with all of his spinny tail action stuff going on. But yeah, the Beast Wars toys were pretty good. For the most part. One of these days I'll watch the show when I have maybe both my legs are broken or something. I can't get up. He's cool. It's fun. That's it.
All right, well, that'll do it for trips to the store. All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and let's move on to some convention news.
In convention news this week, we have TFCon's convention exclusive Make Toys MTCD-01D Delta Manus. This is a new color scheme of their version of Powered Convoy, the Diaclone version. It's like mostly blue. There's some yellow highlights. This looks like a pretty neat figure. Daryl, is this the figure you want Yoshi to pick up for you?
No, I'm good. But it's it's pretty neat looking though. It's cool. I like the look of it. Yeah, it's cool.
All right, cool. And it looks like the cost will be $80. So, I mean, not that unreasonable for a figure like this. So, if you get it, send us pictures. Tell us how you like it. The next thing we have, also from TFCon, they have announced the custom class paint figure, or the custom paint class figure. This year's figure is going to use the Open Play Big Cannon figure to create the Broken Mirror Supreme Commander. Essentially, it's going to be Shattered Glass Galvatron. This is the color scheme actually makes me think of the original look of Megatron before. Like if you saw the early pictures of Megatron before they decided on the color scheme, and he had like the darker gray helmet. It's essentially kind of a subdued colored Galvatron. I'm sure you can get a Shattered Glass decal from Toy Hacks, but if you are going to be in this class, or it says there are limited spots, they might be gone by now, but if you're going to be in this class, send us pictures of the toys. I'm always interested to see how these turn out. That is it for convention news. TFCon is right around the corner. So,
all right, and be sure to find Yoshi at TFCon and
yes,
give him a big hug.
Yeah, I'll need my Charles fix.
Take a selfie. Tag us on Twitter. I want to see a million pictures of people with Yoshi, and he just looks more and more perturbed throughout the entire weekend.
Urge to kill rising. All right, well, let's finish up the show with some feedback.
Thanks, Charles. And if you would like to leave feedback, head on over to transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. There you can hit us up on Friendster or any other social media platform and shoot us a message, shoot us a question, leave us a voicemail, Facebook us, tweet us, you get the idea. But today we're going to go to email, where I was told they saved this particular piece of feedback just for me. And we have an email here from Chad, and Chad writes, "Hey guys, I enjoy listening to your podcast. The information, news, and opinions is enlightening and fun to listen to. I do have one complaint for what it's worth, and I'm sure there are many others out there that would agree. The language." Of course you saved this for me. "And it seems to mainly be coming from one of you, which indicates to me that maybe the majority of you on the podcast would agree and or appreciate my view on it. Sometimes I would like to listen with my kid in the car or wherever, and for the most part the podcast is flowing smoothly and appropriate for any age. Then boom, that one guy who has great knowledge and is nice to listen to otherwise throws in his F-bombs, just not consistent with the others. If it was a show that had its language, who had this language throughout and more consistently, I would get it and know not to subscribe, but it's not. Hey, it's your show. I know you guys are friends, and I don't know your view on things like that. This is what feedback is all about, so maybe you'll consider my view on it. If not, I respect your right to do the things the way you do. It just may conflict with others that might have to unsubscribe, which really sucks because, again, all of you, including the language guy, bring good stuff. Thanks for taking the feedback regardless." Well, Chris, or Chad, yes, this is what feedback is for, and this definitely helps us gauge our audience. Where do I begin? I guess I'll start with, I too am a father of a child. Believe it or not, my language does continue past the podcast into my private life. For me, I am of the opinion, maybe it's more of a fact, really, that words, be them fuck or shit or ass or cunt or dick or whatever, are just words. It is the context in which words are used which makes them bad or good. Now, I don't use foul language in a... What am I looking for? I don't use it as hate speech. I don't put that kind of context whenever I use vocabulary. That's my stance on it, and that's how I educate my child on it. Context is everything with foul words. And again, words aren't foul. Words are words. It's the context which makes them bad or good or what have you. So that's my take on it. There are people, myself included, who there are words in the English language that just makes us cringe, and they're not necessarily considered quote unquote bad words, but they're just annoyances. And maybe for you the word fuck is like that, in which case I really can't help you. But that's kind of how I look at it. It's not, I don't know, I've never been kicked out of a public place because of the words I use in the context in which I use them. I'm sure if I used them in a very mean-spirited, hateful way, I would get kicked out, but I don't do that. To quote an old saying, fuck is the duct tape of the English language. So yeah, that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. But let's have it out. This is a very good question, guys. What's your take on it, Jeremy? Let's start with you. Should I stop?
Maybe every other week.
That's already happening.
I don't think the question is should you. I think the question is can you, and I think the answer is no.
I mean, personally, my opinion is, we have had the explicit tag on our podcast from the beginning because we made this conscious decision when we were creating the podcast, like what kind of language do we want? And basically the three of you said you wanted the language, and I'm like, either way, I don't really, I am probably the one that curses the least. I pick my shots so it has maximum impact for shock value. It's just, it's how we are, we're all good friends. We have a good time together, and it's just, like I said before the show, if it bothered me, we wouldn't have been doing the show for 5 years. I hate that Chad has a problem when he's in the car with his kid, because I too have a young child, and we went through the phase where he picked up the F word from someone at school, and just trying to teach him that there's when we don't say words like that in places. I would prefer he not say it at all until he gets older, but that's just me. And what I would suggest is, if you hear that Yoshi's on the show, and maybe just hold that until you can get in the headphones. But it's not like the other shows don't have language, it's just the quantity.
All right, Canadian, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm not completely innocent on this one either. I've dropped a few S and F bombs in my day on the show. Generally, it's when I get a little bit excited about something. So, I'll get a little crazy and lose my mind a little bit and start swearing like a sailor. Yeah, I just personally I enjoy talking with you guys, and when we get really going on a discussion, I can definitely. I don't like trying to hamper myself with my language, because when I'm out with my friends, I don't worry about that. I can keep myself censored when I'm around my kid, and she's gotten to an age where she knows that if she hears a word on the TV or anything like that, that's a bad word and you don't say that. And if she hears me say it, then she knows that it's an adult saying it and that she's not allowed to say it and that kind of thing. And we'll have discussions, her and I, about that kind of stuff. But she's going to be 10 this year. So, she's older and she understands. So I can't control what she does outside of the house, but she's a good kid, so I trust her. But yeah, as far as I go, I've no stranger to the cursing, and I don't mind it. There's sometimes I find that you do drop it when you don't necessarily need to, but I'm not your mother. I don't give a shit.
All right, Charles, what do you think? You ready to kick me off the show?
Yeah, I thought I did, but you keep coming back.
He knows the passwords.
That's true.
And no one's removed his rights in Discord.
No, I mean I am more, I think, on on Jeremy's end of the cursing spectrum. Like I use it pretty rarely, but my ears are not virgin, so I'm fine with hearing whatever anybody says.
My freaking ears.
I do understand the concern of wanting to listen to a podcast while your kids are in the car, because I know, like, I have a long commute. Thankfully, I'm usually alone in my car, so that's not an issue. But usually when my kids are in the car, they want to listen to music on the radio anyway, so they're not letting me listen to any podcast.
Yeah, in the car, I have one earbud in listening to my stuff, and the kids listening to the same CD over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, so but I sympathize with that. I mean, there are several podcasts I listen to that have lots of foul language, and I can't listen to them with my family in the car because they don't like that, and so it is what it is. I mean, I think I hope, Chad, you will continue to listen. If you are still listening, I hope you're still listening, and hopefully understand that. Unfortunately, we want to maximize our listeners and make all our listeners feel comfortable, but this also is a show that we enjoy doing our particular way. So I don't think there's some things we're just not going to change, and this is one of them.
Chad, we live in a wonderful, politically correct world where there are multiple Transformers podcasts, so go fucking listen to Moonbase 2 or some shit. I don't care. Worse than us. Are they really? Fuck. All right. What's another one?
Radio Free Cybertron.
Okay, Radio Free Cybertron.
It's pretty good.
We don't want him to go. We just we want him to stay.
Well, the only reason, I mean, let's be honest here. The only reason Chad wrote is because he likes the content. He doesn't like the language. And I'm assuming in this digital age, he's heard what all the others have to offer, and he likes the way we present our information. He just doesn't like my language. I mean, we're all talking about the same shit. We all see the same news every day. You can get the news parsed out differently from other podcasts.
Although we are the premier comic review podcast.
We are. We're also the number one.
Stopped reviewing comics.
We're also the number one Transformers podcast with a PlayStation 4 community. So, I mean, I get it. It's a dilemma. They're so good, but they've got this one bad thing that's just nails on a chalkboard to me. I think we all talked beforehand a little bit. We assume you're a new listener, Chad. We put the explicit tag on there. You were warned, and maybe you're upset that you enjoy it. And I say embrace that. I think that's it for feedback, guys.
Yeah, we have a new channel in Discord specifically for feedback. So if you're hanging out in Discord, you can put something in there, trying to save you some work.
All right, I'm just going to go through this from the beginning. Cheesy Patty. Do you find your interest in mainline toys waning at all? Daryl.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Jeremy.
Just in price.
And I will say hell yeah. Dinobot Maximize. Do you think the polls they have had lately affecting the amount of figures released in the poll? Affects the amount of figures released in the poll. Example, G1 reissues lately. What I mean, do you think who wins the poll might have more or less figures out there? So do the polls affect the number of figures we get? Daryl.
Not quantity, so no.
Charles.
I'm still not really clear on what he's asking, but if it's do you think the results of the poll mean that they produce more or less figures? I'd say probably not. It's just a choice of what to produce, not how many.
And I'm going to go with I don't have a clue, Dinobot. I really don't know.
And I would say they're rigged.
Yeah. The Duggernaut. Please no more GoBots. I second this. Daryl?
Well, they're canon. They're make them better than what we've done just recently. So better than they.
You don't want Scioli GoBots. I just don't want GoBots.
I don't want Scioli GoBots, no.
Charles, this is a donator. They give us money.
Donatreon.
Are you going to allow that to have an effect?
They're all Donatreons. This is a Donatreon only channel.
Are you good?
Well, no,
Jesus, did I hit a sore spot or what?
Well, all the ones who've commented are Donatreon so far.
We created it 5 minutes before the show.
Anyway, read the next one, Yoshi. I feel like you're missing these two go together.
I put the best ones in the.
Yeah, I think you're in the channel, not in the doc.
Oh, I am in the channel, not in the doc. We're
under Discord.
Anyway, DJ Ronan said, "Please, more GoBots, just to match the Duggernaut."
Okay.
Like the Go bots for kids.
Duggernaut also asks, "Can you please recommend to Deep Throating to have Hasbro include stickers or battle damage instead of painting it on the figures?" Yes, we can. I think he's going to need she's going to need more than one person demanding that, though.
I don't think it'll matter because Deep Throating is not in charge of the production at Hasbro.
We aren't going to tell them what Deep Throating does because we're keeping her anonymity. You're going to blow her cover, Charles. That's all I know. And that's it for feedback this week, guys. Again, if you want to leave us feedback, give us some money so you can join the donators channel page, Discord thing, and leave us feedback.
The feedback channel is open to everybody.
Charles?
Thank you, Yoshi.
You're welcome.
That will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, Mike.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.